Hi guys, welcome to another video, and today I'm really excited to be bringing you my Magical Readathon TBR. Now I'm not going to go explaining everything about the Readathon. I will just do a lot of links down in the description box to send you to the right announcement video, the correct channel just in general. But it is hosted by O.W.Ls, and she just puts so much effort into the curriculum that she sets out for us every year, and it is now year 3 of the Magical Readathon. So this is separated into the O.W.Ls examinations and the Newts examinations, and April is the O.W.Ls, August is the Newts. So this is the collection of books that I hope to read for O.W.Ls. I have yet to pick a career because I decided I was going to be ambitious and try and fit all of the prompts. I have managed to go through the books that I have to read as buddy reads, read-alongs that are already taking place, and I've managed to fit them into the prompts, which is always helpful. I've got my little notebook down here, so I might just have to keep glancing at that occasionally. Each book will go along with obviously a prompt, and that prompt leads to a different lesson that you take, and an examination that you take is completed once you've completed that book. So I will be giving you the prompts off my phone because your girl's got no printer. Some of the books I haven't actually got physically. Some of the books I will be listening to via audiobook, and some of them I possibly will have by the time it comes to April. We'll see how we get on. So we're going to start off with Ancient Ruins, and that is a book with a heart on the cover, or in the title, and I am going to be reading A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. Now I have yet to read A Curse So Dark and Lonely, but me and Claire are working on it, so hopefully by the time it gets to April we will have finished it. We plan on actually starting it today. I was originally going to read Heartstopper Volume 1, and I've read that. Volume 2, I've already read that, and by the time it gets to April I will have read Volume 3, so that sort of threw it out the window for me. Next up is Arithmancy, and that is a balance of two opposites, so reading something out of your comfort zone or out of your favourite genre. Now my favourite genre has always been fantasy, and although I've been reaching out to sci-fi and contemporary a little bit, and definitely some more middle grade as of late, fantasy still is definitely my favourite genre to go by. So to fit a buddy read, and also to fit the prompt outside my comfort zone or not my favourite genre, I am going with Aurora Rising, as it is a sci-fi. Now this is another one by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which, if you've been keeping up with my vlogs, I did read Illuminate, and I plan to continue with Gemini and Obsidio at some point. I'm just hoping to get around to it. It's not fitting my TBR. However, I could have read Gemini in this prompt, but then I would have needed to have found time for a buddy read. So this just works really well for me, and I am super excited. The next is Astronomy, and that is for the prompt of something that you are going to be reading more so at night rather than in the daytime. So anything that you are going to read, say bedtime, early hours of the morning for some people, then I have picked a huge book which I do plan on reading when I go to bed, because I feel like it's just going to make my heart really warm and it's going to make me feel really happy. But I've decided to make things really difficult for myself, and I have picked House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I wanted to read this as soon as I got it, but I knew that I needed to finish off A Court of Wings and Ruins, but now that I have done that I will happily be able to start this. However, it is a massive book. This is going to be very time consuming, and some of my books are still really big. Like there isn't a medium for me. And our next one is Care of Magical Creatures, which is a book with an animal with a beak on the front. So I did struggle for a little bit, but I then realised that I have got Witch Zone by Dan Patrick, And obviously we've got birds on the front, they have beaks. Why not? I've been meaning to get to this ever since I bought it. I've really just been called to it. I'm not 100% sure why I haven't read it yet. I think it's just as time's gone on, things have got in the way and I've wanted to read shorter reads. But now clearly I have thought that a readathon is the best time to read huge chunky books. Then next up we have Charms, which is a cover that is completely white. Now I am taking part in the Cosmere along. However, if you have watched my vlogs, you will know that I have decided to take the Cosmere along at my own pace. I will be reading the Brandon Sanderson books in my own time. Currently I am still reading Elantris, which has a white cover, and the follow-up to that would also be reading the Arcanium Unbound with the bits for Elantris. So depending on whether I get that finished, I might have to carry it over to April, or I will be starting Final Empire. Yes, this is a bit of a battered copy and the white does not look so white anymore. However, I managed to find this in a charity shop and I just really wanted to read it at the time. And then a part of me sort of just thought, oh no, this is too intimidating, and put it to one side and just never picked it up again. So again, Readathon's a great time to do that. Next up is Defence Against the Dark Arts, and that is a book which is set by the coast or by the sea. So for that one I have nicely picked Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill, and that is because I love a Little Mermaid retelling. I don't think there's enough of them. But we are definitely going a little bit shorter with this one, so I do hope that I can get to this and complete it. I love the cover. I think the cover is absolutely stunning, and yet, just like I said, mermaids are definitely something that I really enjoy. Little Mermaid is one of my favourite Disney movies. Some people would highly disagree with that, but I do. I don't know what it is, it's just mermaids definitely give me all the feels. Then we have Herbology, and that is a book that starts with M. Now I don't really have that many to choose from. I originally sort of went through my bookshelves and then I went on Scribd to see if I could find something. However, I seem to have completely skirted over my read, and that is Muse of Nightmares. Now I did say in my book haul when I first started this channel that this was something that I wasn't really jumping to read. However, it is the only one that I have that starts with an M. Maybe it's a sign that I really should get round to it, because I really enjoyed Strange the Dreamer, and I think I'm just going to have to try and forget about everybody saying that it wasn't as good as the first one. Now for a history of magic, we are looking for something that is to do with witches, and I genuinely I have no idea which one I want to pick out of these. Currently I have Serpent and Dove in mind, but then looking at the size of the other books that I have on this TBR, I feel like I am setting myself up for a fail. However, I am ambitious, so I'm going to keep Serpent and Dove on there, but should all else fail, I am going to add a little tiny charmed book, as obviously we know that the three sisters are witches. So hopefully I will end up being kind to myself and I will more than likely end up reading Charmed. But I do really want to read Serpent and Dove, because ever since I had it in the giveaway, I just wanted to read it. Now for Muggle Studies, we are looking for a contemporary book, which I don't own many of because I don't really read contemporary. However, as of late there has been quite a few going about in my head. I have been adding a few things to Scribd and a few things to Audible to decide what sort of contemporary I am into. Definitely things with real life issues has hit hard when it's come to recent contemporary reads. But I also want something light-hearted, so I am going to go for Solitaire, which I actually don't own, but I have it on Scribd, so I will be listening to the audiobook for that. It's not that long, and normally I listen to audiobooks at 1.8, sometimes twice the speed. But we will see how I get on with that. I just, as I said, something light-hearted, something fun and exciting, and ever since I found out that it's actually to do with Nick and Charlie from Heartstoppers, I just wanted to read it all the more. And next is Potions, and we are looking at a book with 150 pages or less. So I decided this would be the perfect time to read a book that my brother bought me, and it is How to Tell If Your Cat is Plotting to Kill You. I am really excited by this because there is just some really fun images. Like, the artwork is stunning, it is incredible. I have had a flick through, but I've sort of skipped to certain pages that I thought were really interesting looking, and I haven't actually read it from front to back, so it'd be really fun to read that. I was going to say I hadn't actually checked it, I just looked at the thickness of it. It is 130 pages, which is fine, that fits the prompt really well. But yeah, there's also a pull-out poster, which I may need to put up. But as I said, nice and short and sweet, and with it being sort of a comic, it should go quite quickly. So next is Transfiguration, and that is a book with shape-shifting in, which works really well for me because, as you know, I am reading the Shadowhunter collection, and next up in my order is Clockwork Prince. Now this is going by the order that was set by Steph at Splatter Books on Instagram, and I am sort of following along with that because she says that it fits the timeline better. So yeah, that will be my Transfiguration read, and I am super excited to keep going because I'm really enjoying it at the moment. And then the final prompt, which has sort of gone out of the alphabetical order that it was set in, is Divination. Now the idea of that was that you got a selection of books and issued each book a number, and then used a random generator on your phone or laptop to come up with a number. So I did that, and I am super excited, apart from the fact that I feel like I'm just starting new series. The idea of this year, at the beginning at least, was that I would finish series, and I'm not. I'm starting them again because my randomly generated book was The Witcher, The Last Wish. So this is another book that I'm going to be starting as a new series, because I know that once I have this one, I want to then continue with it, because I don't want to keep picking up a book and then not continuing with the series. It happens all too much. As you know, that is why I have a video with series that I need to finish, because I can start them but I can't finish them. So that is it. That is my TBR. However, I am also doing the Elderling Along, which I didn't quite manage to fit into my prompts, and that means that that is an extra book. So I will be reading Royal Assassins on the side. I don't currently own the book, but I know that it is on Scribd and it is also on Audible. So either one of those I will be choosing. It is a huge stack of books. Like, as it is, just looking at them scares me, because I have, oh god, let's not forget that we have an extra book. We do, we have an extra book in there, don't forget, because I can't decide between Charmed and Serpent and Dove, but they're huge and I don't know what I'm going to do. Help, please. Somebody needs to tell me to stop. You know, normal people would pick a career and just do those prompts, but I'm not. However, I know I'm not the only one that isn't doing that. I also know that Steph, who I mentioned at Splatter Books, is definitely aiming high with hers as well, and she's going for all 12 prompts. I also know that Claire, I've managed to convince her to do all 12 prompts, because at the end of the day it does make Newts easier, I feel, because then I can read all of these, maybe, and then I can pick any career that I want and then decide on which Newts fit best for me, which makes it a lot easier if I'm having a really tough time in August. So yeah, hefty chunk right there, but we can do this. I know we can, and I really want to know whether you think you can do it. I want to know if you have picked a career or whether you are aiming for all of the prompts. I think it's 13 this year. I know last year it was 12, but I think there's 13 this year. But I really want to know whether you can manage it, whether you think you've got this or whether you are panicking a little bit. As you can hear in my voice now that I have seen all of the books that I have chosen, I am seriously panicking. But yeah, so let me know in the comments down below. If you've liked this video, don't forget to press the thumbs up, and if you haven't, then please subscribe. I will speak to you soon, and I will hopefully see you in a vlog. Bye!